All right, we'll begin with some breaking news coming in at this hour. Author Salman Rushdie was attacked on stage at an event in New York just as he was about to give a lecture. Reports say that Rushdie was repeatedly punched and stabbed. The author then fell to the floor and the man was restrained. New York police say the assailant is now in their custody. Remember, Rushdie's writings led to him receiving death threats in Iran in the 1980s. He was at the receiving end of a fatwa. His book, The Satanic Verses, has been banned in Iran as many consider it blasphemous. In fact, it's banned in many countries around the world. My colleague Srinjoy is joining us for more details. Srinjoy, what do we know about the reason for the attack? Is it linked to Satanic Verses after all of these years?
Well, nothing is known as yet, but you can assume that could well be the case. It's 35 years, almost 4 decades since the Satanic Verses was published, and still there could be people very angry with Salman Rushdie about it. The point is that he had police protection for years and years, during which time he wrote Joseph Conrad. But the thing to remember now is that at this point, we should wonder what kind of protection did he have? What kind of security was there, which allowed a man to get onto the stage, repeatedly punch Rushdie, and then stab him? Now, we've known that he's been stabbed in the neck, and a helicopter quickly took him to hospital. So let's hope that he will recover and he will be all right. He is 75 years old, it has to be remembered. But all of us are praying that he gets well soon and he recovers as quickly as he can. But as far as the assailant is concerned, nobody knows. The police has said that he's in custody, but they have not said who he is.
All right, those details coming in, but shocking pictures right now from New York, where Salman Rushdie was attacked. Taslima Nasreen, another author who has been at the receiving end of threats, has tweeted on this. She said, and I quote, "I just learned that Salman Rushdie was attacked in New York. I'm really shocked. I never thought it would happen. He's been living in the West and he has been protected since 1989. If he is attacked, anyone who is critical of Islam can be attacked. I am worried." We'll keep updating you on that story, but let's turn to our lead story this evening. Now, there is a narrative being created today. A narrative that a boycott call on social media and several tweets against Amir Khan's latest movie, Lal Singh Chaddha, has tanked the movie's opening. As per Box Office India, a website that tracks box office collections, Lal Singh Chaddha, that's an adaptation of the classic movie Forrest Gump, drew collections of 11.5 crore rupees on day one. To put that into perspective, a hit Amir movie gets anywhere between 25 to 30 crore rupees on day one. His last Thugs of Hindustan was over 50 crore rupees on day one, although it eventually was a flop. You will be hearing today that this is Amir's lowest opening, but the critically acclaimed Secret Superstar actually opened at 4.8 crore rupees on day one. So why is Amir getting all of this hate today? Is it because he's seen as an actor who used to speak his mind and was critical of the government? Here is the backdrop. In 2015, Amir at an event said that his then wife, Kiran Rao, was seriously considering moving out of the country due to growing intolerance and feared for the safety of her child. Post this, Amir lost some advertising campaigns and faced a lot of flack. He has spent the last 7 years crawling back from that statement. He's even apologized for it before the release of Lal Singh Chaddha. But now that the movie has been released, there seems to be a host of complaints and people on social media who are offended for various reasons. I won't go into the details and give away spoilers in case you plan to see it, but I want to explore another question. Is it really social media hate and boycott calls that are responsible for this weak opening, or is that just a smokescreen? Is there a bigger story here? Let me show you a search we did on a booking app for Lal Singh Chaddha at a popular theatre in Mumbai for Sunday at 9 p.m. This search has been done for 8:30 this evening. It's wide open, as you can see. The bookings are wide open. This was unthinkable in the past for a Sunday evening show. Now, let's see what the demand is for another big star release this weekend. The Akshay Kumar starrer, Raksha Bandhan. Same multiplex, 9 p.m. show. Take a look. It's pretty much empty. There's just one row that is booked. So is this really about Amir and what his wife has apparently said 7 years ago? Is it about Twitter trends, or is there a deeper story to this? Sample this. Of the last 7 big releases in Bollywood, 2 only have been hits. So I'll take you through the list. Kashmir Files was undoubtedly the hit. Its budget was about 25 crore rupees and total earnings were 246 crore rupees. And that was a hit. Bhool Bhulaiya 2 was a 90 crore rupee budget, total earnings of 181 crore rupees, another hit. Gangubai Kathiawadi, budget 181 crore rupees, but total earnings 126 crore. So that was a flop. Jug Jug Jio, budget 85 crores, total earnings 72 crores. Another flop. Samrat Prithviraj, an Akshay Kumar starrer, 200 crores was what it cost, total earnings 68 crores, undoubtedly a flop. Bachchan Pandey, 182 crore budget, earnings of 49 crore rupees, a flop. Same with Shamshera, 183 crore rupees is what it cost to make, and earnings of a little less than 28 crore rupees. So the point I'm making is that the problem seems to be a larger Bollywood Hindi movie problem. I'm just picking up a few pan-Indian movies hailing from different parts of the country, a lot of them from the southern part of the country, and how they fared. Now, Vikram, its budget was 120 crore rupees and total earnings was close to 300 crore rupees. Undoubtedly a hit. RRR, budget of 450 crore rupees and total earnings of 921 crore rupees. Mega hit. KGF 2, budget of 100 crore rupees and total earnings of over 1,000 crore rupees. So the question is, has Amir fallen prey to the cancel culture, or a bigger malaise in the Indian film industry is being seen? Also, why is this one actor getting so much hate online? Are these boycott trends manufactured or real? And are we underestimating the impact of the OTT culture? To speak on this, I'm joined today by a host of great speakers. Talking to us, Abu Malik, a singer, music director, is on the show with us today. I'm speaking with Ria D'Souza, former actress, who's joining us. Akash Banerjee, the Deshbhakt, famous YouTuber, is with us on the show. And I'm also speaking with Ravi Rai, film producer. Welcome to all of you, and thank you so much for joining us on the show. Akash, let me begin with your take. There is a host of people who are saying that they're offended by different parts of the movie. But is this about Amir Khan and the particular kind of hate he seems to be getting on social media, or is there a deeper question here?
It was a very nice list of hits and misses that you listed out. You missed out one very significant, super mega, unfortunately not a hit, Dhakar, that was made with 100 crores and barely managed to get 4 crores. This whole social media thing, we tend to take Twitter a little too seriously. I've spent a better part of my last 10 years being on the platform only to realize what a waste of time it is. Just to put it in a very small context, we are talking about 2.5 billion for Facebook. We're talking about 2 billion for YouTube. We're talking about 1 billion for Twitter, for TikTok and Instagram. And we are talking about 250, 300 million for Twitter. It's a dying platform. We've shifted away from it, as a matter of fact. So let's get one thing very clear. Had it been a Twitter boycott or had it been a Twitter support, we would have seen a lot of movies like Bachchan Pandey or Dhakar or Samrat Prithviraj do very well. They did not. On the other hand, take a look at what you listed about the pan-Indian movies. We don't want to even call it southern movies now, because they are the real Bollywood at this point of time. My take is pretty simple. I was very brutal with Lal Singh Chaddha when I saw the trailer. A, the trailer killed it. It's a very pathetic trailer. Nobody wants to see it after seeing the trailer. B, after seeing the movie, not a very bad one. It's a decent remake. But the fact is that I think there is a fatigue that has set in with Bollywood. Yes, OTT culture is definitely a problem, and people want to watch it on at home. They don't want to spend money. Maybe they don't have money. A lot of people showing blank wallets. So that's, of course, a problem. But I think the bigger problem is very clear. When people heard a remake, they didn't want to go. And I'll tell you the same thing with Raksha Bandhan. I am telling
Akash, just on that remake point.
Let me complete.
Yeah.
For Raksha Bandhan, we have always criticized Akshay's politics. And we have said that he, like Kangana, has lost himself in the politics. But I can assure you, hand on my heart, that if you like the Hera Pheri or a Bhool Bhulaiya, Akshay delivers a phenomenal performance in Raksha Bandhan. But Raksha Bandhan is about, it's a very socially serious issue about dowry debts. So again, that might not work. So Southern movies do it better. They pick up original plots, they pick up faster plots. And now what you're going to see as far as the next movie, the Brahmastra versus RRR controversy, how good RR VFX is. What is the toll that nepotism has taken? What is the toll that lack of originality has taken? We will see that. These are the bigger issues.
No, Akash, I was making the point about Forrest Gump, and are people, not interested because it's a remake of Forrest Gump? We're assuming a large part of the Indian audience has seen and grown up with Forrest Gump. That may not be the case.
Suddenly, it seems that all of India has been tracking Hollywood so well that they have seen Forrest Gump, they remember Forrest Gump.
Yeah, I thought it was these 80s kids who grew up with Forrest Gump.
Yeah, and let me make this very clear. I had my guns out because I was irritated with the promo. I had my guns out. I rewatched Forrest Gump 24 hours before seeing the first show of Lal Singh Chaddha. If you have seen Forrest Gump, it's not a problem. The context that it has been put into India is commendable. I'm not saying they've done a brilliant job out of it, but they haven't butchered the movie. Please remember, it's an official remake. They wouldn't have been allowed to make a butchering of the movie. My last point is very simple. I think that Amir Khan is going the wrestling movie. The name is slipping out of my mind. Where you had it earn 1,300 crores in China. I think the aim is definitely the international market here. But that still doesn't answer the question is, why are people not putting their faith back into Bollywood? I think it is definitely beyond the boycott thing. It doesn't help. The boycott doesn't help at all. But there is a bigger problem.
Virai, is this about the movie and whether it's good or bad, or how polarized we've become as a society that everything is in an us versus them camp? So either you like Akshay Kumar or Kangana Ranaut, not because they're good or bad actors, but because of their views. And either you hate or love Amir Khan, not because his movie is good or you like him as an actor, because of your perception of his views. It's just become ridiculous. How do you create anything in this kind of an atmosphere? Yes, Mr. Rai, that question's for you.
To me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, to begin with, I am totally with Akash bang on. Whatever he said was absolutely fine. But coming back to Amir Khan, the moment you say ki it's a copy of Forrest Gump, so Amir Khan all his life, Akash has done remakes all his life. Whether it was Dil Hai Ke Mantani, whether it was Gajani, whether it was Kramer versus Kramer, whether it was, Houseboat, which was... So Amir, over a period of time, has only done remakes and they worked for him. And like you, I totally believe that boycotts have got nothing to do with whatever the films are faring today. Like you said, Tamanna, when you said he's hit the lowest opening, so has Akshay hit the lowest opening of his career. I mean, his film Raksha Bandhan has opened with the least opening that you can. I mean, lesser than Bachchan Pandey. So boycotts, I don't think. When PK was released, I mean, hatred for Amir Khan was at the peak, But PK did a phenomenal business. And after that, Dangal also. So it's all about a good film or a bad film. And like Akash said, the trailer was not a very fascinating one. I mean, it doesn't seduce you to go to the... And people have gone to the theaters. Not that people have not gone to the theaters. People have gone to the theaters and they've come out with not saying good reviews about the film. So I definitely feel that boycott has got... It's just a narrative, like you said. It's a narrative said. And bans are not... I mean, bans which are very unconstitutional, they're not bans. They're very wishful thinkings of a fragment of a society. Nothing else. So I personally feel that this is not... Boycott is... It's not a film that people have gone to. So boycott, I don't think boycott has anything to do with this.
Okay, so it's not boycott. It maybe is just not a great movie, or people are just bored of going to the movie halls? Is that what's happening? And that, in fact, will be quite a scary question if that truly is the case. Abu Malik, I'd like your view on this. What is going on? Is this a Bollywood issue, an Amir Khan issue, cancel culture, sensitivities? What is the story right now, according to you?
I think it's a mix of all these things because social media does influence a lot. They say that social media doesn't influence is wrong. It does influence a lot. A few days back, the movie with Ranbir Kapoor came and a lot of family members wanted to see it. But when they read the reviews on the media, social media, said they didn't want to go. So that means they were influenced by it. So social media does have influence. But in the last 3 years, there have been a lot of problems. Because of the pandemic and other issues, people have had a change in the kind of views of movie watching, etc. The style has changed. We are watching movies on the OTT platform. We are more comfortable being indoors. There are many, many issues. But some films are working and some films are not. So is it because the movies are not good? Now, there was this movie called Bhool Bhulaiya which did phenomenal good business. And I happened to see it. And when I saw it, I liked it immensely. So I feel that the public's judgment of watching a good movie in the theatre is there. So I feel if the movies are good, people will go to the theatres. But they can be influenced by not going. By the social media, by the atmosphere that is all around us at the moment. There is a financial problem also. It's become very expensive going to movies. There are many, many issues that are there that actually contribute for a person to go into the cinema. I would still think, like if I have to go with 4 people, I spend $5,000 for a movie, then it's an expensive proposition. And what are the so many millions and millions of families all over the country? They have to think about their pockets when they have to go and see a movie with the family. And you're talking about
thinking
a family
about
outing,
their pockets when it comes to KGF 2. No, Mr. Malik, what happens with KGF 2? Everyone's pockets are full.
Yes,
out of the 7 movies I talked about, 2 were hits. Bhool Bhulaiya 2, everyone had a budget. Marvel movie, the tickets are booked in advance.
Yeah, they went. Yeah, but they did go. But I still feel there are a lot of combinations in the whole factor. With the social media is there are financial issues, there's a pandemic issue that was still there. But still, they do step out. People want to step out. Now you're talking about this season. You're talking about the next 7 days. We have Raksha Bandhan as a festival. We have the 15th August there, Independence Day. There are other festivities also in the next 4-5 days. In this time, people do spend a lot of time in their houses too. So it's possible that they would like to be or may go later on. That's quite possible. That it's possible that they may go later on. Right now, they may be busy with their families also. So you can't just judge.
There could be 100 reasons, but you know, this is a trend we're looking at. Darshan Jariwala is joining us on the show. Darshan, great to have you on. Just, you know, your take as an artist.
The trend.
Yes. You want to complete that point, Mr. Malik?
Yeah, I would say that besides this, we must take into account that people have their preferences. They may go or they may not go. And they may not, maybe the movie is not that good. That is the review that comes.
No, obviously, all of those things are... So then the question is, are we making bad movies in this industry?
Social media does influence
Are we
the whole
making
thing.
bad movies? Are we, you know, not being imaginative enough? Has OTT opened up options for viewers who don't want to see the same old thing? Although an adaptation of Forrest Gump, I would say, is creatively quite, you know, brave. It's not the same old thing. I will come to you, Ria. Just give me a second. Right after I go to Darshan Jariwala. Darshan, great to have you on the show. Just, you know, I want to know, as a creative person, as someone as part of the industry, do you look at this whole thing with trepidation? I mean, it's not really related, but Ranveer Singh is, you know, has got a calling for some pictures he put out a few weeks ago. Amir Khan has been going around hat in hand saying sorry for something he said many, many years ago. And now, if you look at a movie, you have to be worried who you might offend. How do you create art?
I think actors need to stick to their jobs of acting. The content that they come out with, the movies that they make, they are the final litmus test. I don't think that Ranveer Singh takes away anything from his portrayal of, let's say, Jayesh Bhai Jordar. You know, where he was praised for a very different kind of outing that he had. Then let's say Padmavat, or I think he played Alauddin Khilji, I think, in another movie, and He was quite, praised for that. So I think it is all about being an actor. It's all about understanding where your stardom is coming from, and it is you have your ideological views, no doubt about it. But then the point is that that is not what has given you your currency with the people. uh, the vast public that look up to you as a star, they want certain kind of products from you. You can creatively create very brave content like which is not acceptable at all by the janta. But finally it is the film that you make. I don't think doing a nude center spread or being prodded into giving a view about what you believe about India's secularism or not, or whether there is the wave of intolerance in the country. That view is your own view, and I respect that, and I respect your right to view it, to air it also. But on the at the last, I think the last stage, the public pays you money and then buys a ticket, and then they say, okay, tell us your story. Okay, show me your movie. It's an act of faith. I do believe the point that my friend made about social media now, being so decisive in creating a public opinion and reviewing a film. Now uh, there is no need for a single critic who can impart a context to the film, and who can
Right.
yeah, the social media is a critic. So don't go and see the movie. That's the last thing you can do. I don't think.
I think it's also an issue of attention spans. Ria, is
Yes.
the point that these 2.5, 3 hour movies better be very, very interesting? We're in the real TikTok kind of a space of mind
Right.
space. Ria D'Souza.
Space.
I,
Good evening, everybody, and thank you, Tamanna, for having me on the show. Firstly, I should say that I stand completely with whatever Mr. Banerjee happened to say. He is absolutely spot on. In fact, there's 2 years during pandemic, people had nothing to do except to watch OTT. So OTT has actually grown in people, and because of that, people have grown out of the typical masala Bollywood film what we show. And Bollywood is अभी तक जो है Bollywood सब घिसा पिटा वही चीज बार-बार अपना रही है. अगर आप you have a look at Bachchan Pandey, it was absolutely crap. I happened to get up halfway through and get out. Why waste that money? I would not waste that money. I would rather see it on OTT when it comes. Like Nikamma now, which just recently came. Now it's coming on Netflix. I didn't bother to go and watch. See, this is the mindset of a public. And I fail to believe. I genuinely don't believe boycott gang at all, because जितना लोग बोलते हैं उतना कम ही करते हैं, because they are the first people to go and watch it. So I don't believe in boycott at all. Social media does not affect you until and unless your content.
No, Akash, who is this boycott gang?
I strongly believe
Akash, on that. Who is this boycott gang? Because there is one conspiracy theory that, the movie marketing team also starts this boycott trend so that there is some buzz around it. And then people say, oh, we have to now support Amir Khan, so let's go see it. So is it those people? Who are these people who suddenly feel like they have to give their view and everyone's excited about it?
No. I mean, we made an episode also on this when Kangna said that this has been done by Amir. So it was basically Kangna who raised the stink by saying that ye to Amir hi kara raha hai. And we made an episode also saying that there is no buzz about Lal Singh Chaddha. Nobody's talking about it except the boycott gang. So we were just joking about it. But obviously, there is a bigger play here. Let's not fool ourselves. The Bollywood in India controls a huge mind space, and the people who rule Bollywood thereby have a huge influence. And any government and any politician would be aware of that. We have photos of Bollywood personalities with Indira Gandhi in the past. We have photos of Bollywood personalities with the present Prime Minister. So let's not kid ourselves that there is a very vested interest to see that let's ensure that Bollywood is not ripping us apart and not talking about politics and society or being able to criticize political leaders. The demand for Amitabh Bachchan to say something about price rise today, and the disappointment that Mr. Bachchan is not a very angry young man. He's a quiet old man at this point of time. And therefore, what Darshan sir is saying, huge respect to him. I may not agree with him, but what he's saying is right. I do not know if he honestly feels that from the heart, but what he's saying, unfortunately, has become true, is that today actors are supposed to act. Shut up, otherwise, do not view your point of view, otherwise we will rip you apart. Amir Khan is being targeted for stuff that he had said years before. I can understand 5 months, 6 months, 1 year. Stuff that he has said years before, stuff that his wife had said, that he had quoted, etc., etc. So the thing is very clear. The messaging is very clear. Don't comment on issues which are related to society, to politics, to politicians. You stick to your acting and don't take off your clothes also. Maybe your body, but don't take off your clothes.
Darshan wants to respond to that. That's like kind of a gag order, isn't it?
Obviously, the choice is given to you.
It's a gag order.
The choice is given to you that it's a that don't speak up. Whereas I mean, just tell me, when you go to your grocer, do you really worry about his political views? No, because the grocery that you buy is a necessity. Whereas entertainment, you suddenly feel entitled that, oh, I have made this star. I am one of those billions who has made this star, so I have a say in how he will behave with the public, how he will behave with me. And now, I mean, so many years ago, Andy Warhol had talked about 15 minutes of fame when television hit. Television was invented. But now with social media, it is 15 seconds of fame. I have a voice. And in 15 seconds, I'm going to destroy your reputation. And then people will talk about me for maybe 1.5 days. And then I'll go back into my oblivion. But for those 15 seconds, I've done it. That is unfortunately becoming the trend on social media. Anybody who is a nobody thinks that
I completely agree there.
This is a question of not anybody who's a nobody speaking, anybody who is a somebody speaking. If you are anybody who's a somebody, you should behave like a nobody.
I think I am not interested in Amir's views about politics, for example.
Okay.
He has his views, I have my own views. Okay. Now, if he were not Amir Khan, I would not have read his view also with interest. I would have just scrolled it up. Hey, yaar, ye mujhe nahi janna hai. Koi bol raha hai kisi cheez ke bare mein. But because he is Amir Khan, because I know he is a part of my collective subconscious as a film star for so many years, I'm interested in knowing his views. And then I get into a reaction game. Now, that is very unfair to Amir also. I mean, just because he has earned his brownie points with me makes me feel that I have some kind of a hold on how he has to mirror my views about everything. No. But then, that is what public is all about.
I think when you're talking about the grocer and the actor, are we forgetting what kind of a world we right now live in? Ria, you wanted to come in. We're in such a polarized world that people have different views and fight over it at the dining table, in offices, in relationships. And then you're saying stars should stay away from it. Is that the safest bet, though?
No,
Ria, that question's for Ria.
Yeah, sorry.
I don't believe that at all. I believe because Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead. Yeah.
I strongly don't believe in that. I believe the actors today the actors are one of they influence people. So if they don't speak, people get angry. Like as exactly what Akash just happened to say, that people are upset with Amitabh ji, people are upset with Shah Rukh Khan, people are upset with Salman Khan for not speaking up. Earlier, these were the same people speaking up about inflation, speaking about petrol, speaking about their cylinder. Today, they're all kept completely mute. Why? This is the reason people are upset with them. So I don't believe that, they are not allowed to speak. They basically are forced not to speak right now, because if they speak, unfortunately for them, they will be hounded by the ED, by CBI, or by somebody or the other from the central agency. That is the reason the stars are quiet right now. So I won't push them as such, but the fact that people actually idolize them, they need to, muster some courage and actually speak. So I generally don't agree to Darshan sir. I'm very sorry, sir, but this is my opinion.
Not a problem.
Yeah.
I will defend your right
Tamanna.
to disagree with you.
Yeah, yes,
Tamanna?
yes, Akash.
Tamanna, just one point to Darshan sir. I know he's saying the right thing. I know he's reflecting the reality. But here is my problem. Say Amir Khan is shutting up. Say I agree with him that actors don't have a business to go lecturing people. Let me agree with that point. My sadder point would be that today, if somebody makes a Jaane Bhi Do Yaro, somebody even tries to make Oh My God today, even on the canvas, not off the canvas, even on the canvas, then is that safe? Would it be acceptable? Darshan sir, I would love to know your views. What if an actor wants to do something on stage, social issue, awareness issue, democracy?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you there that the kind of, elbow room that an actor must have in order to make films that are also relevant to his own sense of identity as a citizen, as a, citizen of this country, or as a human being, or a humanist level. I think those rights are being trampled upon very subtly, because you are right. Oh My God, when it was made, I mean, just now, do you think Akshay would again agree to do such a thing? I don't think so. जाने भी दो यारो तो आप भूल ही जाइए. जाने भी दो यारो तो sir.
The thing over here, Ravi Rai, we've been talking about all of these restrictions for those who are making films. Tell us about how it has seeped into the creative process. Do you start with the self-censorship and then the anomaly with OTT? When we're talking about OTT, really becoming interesting and people getting used to that, then we look that there is no restriction there. You have international content, everyone is seeing it, everyone's loving it, but then you have the traditional Hindi movie situation, yes, which has all of these restrictions. How do you deal with this as a creator?
Hey, Tamanna, I think that over the last 2-3 years, primarily, Bollywood is going through a very, very vulnerable phase, and we need to do a lot of corrections there. I mean, whatever we have spoken today about whether OTT or whether freedom of speech of the actors, or it is irrelevant. I mean, the same applies to the South also. I mean, the same applies to the Bhojpuri films also. But Bollywood, in terms of catering a good cinema, needs to sit down, brainstorm, and work out what is it that people are not even interested in walking up to an Amir Khan film or a Ranveer Singh or a Ranveer Kapoor film. That's where it lies. You're right. I mean, look at Ranveer Kapoor. He's made no political comment. Look at Ranveer Singh. He's made no political comment. There were no bans on their films, but they didn't do well. I mean, nobody went and watched them. Yeah. So my point there is, let us talk about Bollywood needs to go through a certain kind of correction. The revenues, to begin with, the revenues are letting us down. I mean, if you get a 200 crore, the actor takes away 135, 125.
Actually, Tamanna,
That
Yes.
is the story. You know, that is the story. All of this, everyone hates Amir because of what his wife said and movie. There's a bigger story here.
Amir Khan, let me tell you, Tamanna, Amir Khan at the peak of his hatred did PK and Dangal.
Yeah.
I mean, if you talk about ban, I remember Salman Khan was taken out of the Thumbs Up ad, and again he was brought back. So
Okay.
these are very,
Abu Malik wants to come in on that. Yes, Mr. Malik.
Yeah, actually, we are just going round in circle. Actually, people's views regarding watching movies have changed drastically. The OTT platform has taken over in a very, very big way. That stars them, that we talk about stardom, Amir Khan, Salman Khan, Ranbir Kapoor, Ranbir Singh, etc. That stardom has actually taken a back seat. People just watch them in the newspapers and think that, and they feel okay. And they are not very bothered about their films, whether they are releasing or not. But on the OTT, they do get some different kind of subjects, a thriller. See, Darling, it is fantastic. It is so very good to watch. So similarly, they want to watch new content. They are not getting that in the Bollywood films. The superstardom is no longer there. You have to make good films for people to come and watch them. And there are so many other reasons why people are not going to cinemas as far as the Bollywood is concerned. They do enjoy South movies because there is a lot of content in the South movies. And they are made very well. You're talking about RRR, it was a fantastically made film. And even the KK, the other one, it was a good movie that was made. That's why people went to watch them. So if you have a very good content with the film, the stardom is not something that they are very bothered about. Imagine all these three big stars. Nobody went into the theatre to Jayesh Bhai Jordar, this other Ranveer Singh's film. Nobody went to see these movies because they were not bothered. They had the feeling that the movies are not well made. And that's why. And OTT has made a very big impact.
Bollywood sticking to the same old formula is the problem.
Don't forget, immediately after the movie is released, in a few days, you have it on the OTT platform.
You know, that I'll admit. That is an issue. That is an issue that I have seen personally among friends. You're like, ye 4 hafton mein to aa
immediately they
jayega.
come on.
You'll see it in your home. You're already paying for these subscriptions. One minute, one by one, guys. Okay, Akash. Yes.
I really tell you, Tamanna,
one by one.
We are very
I'll just carry
comfortable
on from
watching
what
these
Abu is
movies
saying.
at home.
Okay.
अगर 4 हफ्ते चला भी जाए, 3 हफ्ते चला भी जाए, घर में बैठ के 80 इंच का स्क्रीन मेरे घर में लगा हुआ है, मैं बैठ के बेस्ट से बेस्ट फिल्म देख रहा हूं.
Mr. Malik, not everyone in this country has an 80-inch screen in their house. You're one of the privileged few as per the demographics. Okay, Akash Banerjee now.
Many people have.
He's absolutely right. Abu is absolutely right.
We
People
have
are
our
watching
comfort.
80-inch doesn't matter. I'll just carry on from what Abu has been saying.
Yeah, it does, but people are watching.
Yeah, from OTT issue, they are now realizing is a problem. Tamanna, they are working on a formula of release plus 6 months. Nothing hits OTT 6 months from the date of release because they have to break this cycle. So that is being worked on. They have understood OTT is a problem. I think we can all agree, there is no debate over this, is that OTT has become a problem. People
but they won't be able to break that cycle. The fact is, the people are going to watch OTT even if they break the 6 महीने बाद आएगी तो आने दो 6 महीने बाद.
No, so why did people go to see KGF
because
too?
you have money.
See, we're missing part of the story. Why did people go to see RRR? Why did people go to see Pushpa?
Yeah, I agree.
Why do people go and see all the Avenger movies?
Pushpa, fantastic film. But I tell you the reason for it. We believe that the South films are very, very well made. Those people really work very hard. They are very sensitive people.
You're saying Bollywood is lazy?
They put their romance so well. They put their action so well.
Okay, let Ravi Rai speak. Let Ravi Rai speak.
What dancing?
Ravi Rai speak. Ravi Rai.
Yeah, what beautiful film. And our heroes are
Mr. Malik, let others also speak. No, sir, please. One by one. Mr. Ravi Rai.
And making money out of nothing. They don't want to work hard. You have to work hard for a film.
Okay.
You see, we are talking about South films, 3 films, 4 films.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know the number.
South films. I love to watch them because they work very hard on
अच्छा उनको बोलने दीजिए. Abu Malik, let him speak, sir.
Yeah. कि हम 4 उनकी पिक्चरें जो हैं, उनको लेकर के we have let ourselves down. I totally agree. We are not making good films, but do you know the amount of flop films they've made? For every one hit, And like
Arey,
Riya
but
said,
see the amount of hit. You pick up any
please
South
listen.
film on that.
Arey,
You pick up any
bolne
South
do
film
yaar.
on the OTT
Mr.
platform.
Malik, can I
They are so
please request
entertaining.
you, sir?
They
I
are
know
so
this is
beautiful
a topic
to
close
watch.
to your heart,
Arey,
but
Dabbu,
for
bolne
the
do.
sanity of my viewers, can you please let everyone speak one by one? लोगों को
Dabbu,
समझने
let
दो,
me
sir.
speak. Let me speak.
Okay.
Yeah,
And let me also tell you that OTT is completely a different platform than cinema. This cinema that Salman Khan, Amir Khan, they have Bhai ki picture release हो रही है ईद पे. So these people are completely different from the people जो पेट पे रख के लैपटॉप अपना रख के पिक्चर देखते हैं. दो अलग-अलग genres हैं ये. समझ रहे हो? RRR, the moment we are talking about South films, all
I
these
agree.
three films belong to a similar genre. Are you getting?
Right. Right.
What we are losing
And
over
there-
a period of time, let me complete. What we have
No.
lost in Bollywood over a period of time is the stardom and the gate crashing of these mega stars. And also over a period of time, Tamanna, they've been there.
Stardom,
Akshay, Amir,
stardom,
Salman have been there since
the way-
last 35 years. I mean, there is a saturation point to them also.
Yes.
We have not been able to.
Yes, of course there is.
create
Of
a
course
threat
there
to
is.
them over
Well,
a
what
period
happened to
of
all
time.
of those star kids and nepotism and all of that?
I tell you,
What-
Nepotism is not
There's so
there.
many new
All
star
the
kids.
cover
No
if
one
you
wants
see,
to see
Ranveer
them.
Singh
Okay,
and
now
Deepika
I'm going to have to
Padukone
moderate this.
selling something
People, I'm
which
going to have to
is-
moderate this and
Why?
one by one. This is not getting fair to the others who are not interrupting. So one by one. I'll come to Akash now. Next, Akash, Darshan and then Riya in that order. Akash.
I'll just try to put it very quickly. So as far as the OTT, we were just saying that there is a recognition of that fact. So let's understand, let's see what happens there if the cycle is broken. B, as Ravi sir was saying, it's very important to understand, are we making that movie cinema grade experience? The answer largely would tend towards no. Small example. Top Gun Maverick has collected 50 crores in India. We are struggling to collect money. Here, Top Gun is collecting 50 crores. So that means people definitely, of course, Top Gun's budget is much more, but the fact is it's a cinematic experience. Now, in my life, and I've been associated with the film industry, I've worked with Radio Mirchi, so I've done this. In my life, I have never recommended people to come watch movie. In my life, I have never said watch movie as an Indian movie. I bring people home and I say, "Nee, RRR mein ye sequence dekho." This is what I used to do with the Matrix. So what has happened is the pan-Indian films, the South Indian films, they have taken the cinematography level to another complete whole new level. And the reason why the Bollywood flicks are not working, even Samsara for that matter, 2 years ago it was made. The graphics are completely out of date.
Yeah.
This nepotism thing, I'm not going to label it as nepotism, but there is excessive dependence on just a name. A star will come.
Are they charging too much so there's no budget left for graphics and other stuff? Very simple question I'm asking.
And Brahmastra.
You're taking so much money for the actor, there's no money left for anything else.
And Brahmastra is going to be the
dictates
answer.
of
Can
the
we
requirement
salvage
of
the
the
situation?
star.
Can
Okay.
we
Much
have
about
that
the
level
script.
of VFX
Okay,
graphics?
I gave
We'll
an
have to
order, so now Darshan Jariwala is going to speak. We'll stick to that. Yes, Mr. Jariwala.
Okay.
can-
The one debate of OTT versus Bollywood is that yes, OTT is here to stay. It is permeating our lives. We are not merely watching only films. We are watching well-made, absolutely lavishly mounted web series also. OTT is here to stay. But what is Rai Saab made a very correct point. We are talking about 4 exceptionally well-made films. Maybe 4 films only, sir. I know there are 40 flops against 4 films, but those 4 films were exceptionally well made. The narrative was Indian at heart, but the packaging and the production of it was superlative. It was like any Marvel comic universe film. So that's why they caught the fancy of people who wanted something new for their jaded eyes. So if you make films with that particular technical perfection, I'm very sure there is a market out there which will go and watch the films, and not merely on OTT. I think that was the case with KGF. that KGF 1 actually didn't do so well. You know, it was, sorry, the KGF 2 came in because KGF 1 did exceptionally well on OTT and also in theaters. So my point is that yes, Bollywood has to reinvent itself.
Do better. Do better. Bollywood needs to do better. Riya's turn. Riya's turn. She's not going to get a chance. 1 minute. Riya's turn, and then I'll come to you, Mr. Rai. Let's be fair. Yeah.
I need a closure, Tamanna.
No, but first Riya. She's been waiting patiently. Yes, Riya.
No, Tamanna, please give it to him. Let him speak. Let him speak. There are 2-3 people who want to speak instead of you, Riya. So, now, I think you follow my discipline, please. Make your point, ma'am.
Let me speak.
Because there's so much of...
Let me speak.
No, you will speak. No, you will speak. This here, I decide. Yes, Riya, go ahead if you have a point to make.
No, see, I agree to everybody. I mean, I do agree that RRR, Pushpa, KGF 2 and KGF 1 were absolutely brilliant films. Because people, first of all, and yes, there were, we're just looking at these 4 films, and 40 films, as Mr. Rai said, are apparently flopped. So we are actually giving too much of importance that side. We are not seeing our mistake.
All of this is 2022.
Our problem here in Bollywood is that we lack content because, as I said, these 2-3 years of pandemic, we have actually audience has grown out. They have seen OTT, they've seen different content. People have grown out of the typical masala Bollywood film. They do not want that. There are some films, like if you see Bhul Bhulaiya 2 really worked. I really liked Jug Jug Jiyo. I really liked Gangu Bhai. Unfortunately for them, they made a little less. I mean, you know, we were still taking baby steps coming out of pandemic. So I think
I have to wrap this show, but two last comments to Ravi Rai and then Mr. Malik. First, Ravi Rai. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, Tamanna, when we were talking about why our films don't work, I'll very quickly tell you, I was talking to Mukesh Bhatt one day. I mean, that's the house where I grew up. मैं कहा मुकेश जी पिक्चरें चल क्यों नहीं रही हैं? तो ही सेड कि पहले हमारी पिक्चरें जब रिलीज होती थी तो एक हफ्ता पहले हमें डर रहता था कि घर गया कि दफ्तर गया. Things were at stake for a producer, director, story writer. That fear is missing today. There is no answerability, there is no responsibility because studios give you the money that you want. If the film flops, you do not have any kind of remorse or a guilt on your face and you continue. And we very, very importantly, we need to change our lingo as a filmmaker, as a creative man, as a director. When our lingo itself has reduced down to कि तेरे को क्या लगता है रणवीर के साथ अच्छी ओपनिंग मिलेगी कि रणवीर के साथ? अरे भैया तुम्हारी कहानी क्या है ना? और वीकेंड क्या लगा ओपनिंग? So these, when we low down to such a lingo, how are the films going to work? I mean, we make a bad film, there is no remorse, there is no guilt, we move on to jump on to another.
I mean, are you saying the stakes should be high, so high they should go bankrupt with every bad movie? That's a bit harsh, Mr. Rai. You know, people make mistakes. Abu Malik, last line from you, sir. Last line from you.
Yeah. See, but they say all the directors who made their first films were creatively so inspired and they worked so hard and the film was a super hit. As their stomachs get full and they get satisfied and the money keeps pouring in, their creativity dies. Unfortunately, in Bollywood, this is a syndrome that is there throughout. I agree to him totally. वैसे कि घर गया या सब कुछ गया, when everything was at stake, their minds were very sharp. जैसे पेट भर गया, खत्म. They are just doing their आराम से घूम रहे. Same with the actors.
They've gotten lazy.
They're relaxing.
They're not working hard enough. A lot of indictment here.
They don't treat.
That's much worse than anything Amir Khan has had to listen to.
And the writing. Okay. You have to write very good scripts.
All right. So you are the guys who have to improve it. Get us back to the theatres. Get us back to the theatres.
Yeah,
make us buy all of that stale popcorn. Bring the movies back. I have to wrap it, sir. You know, I have overshot on the time I was to spend on this show because it's such a fascinating discussion. Thank you to all of you for joining us on what I think is really going beyond the headline on that one piece of news that Amir Khan is getting trolled and so nobody is watching his movie. It's a much, much bigger story. I just want to take a quick update on the other big story this evening on Salman Rushdie. Salman Rushdie is alive. and has been airlifted to safety. The event moderator was attacked as well and is getting treated at a local hospital. Here's a news report I'm playing out for you.
It's a place of study and reflection and religious inquisitiveness, and it's now a crime scene. Back here at the amphitheater, there were about 2,500 people waiting to hear Salman Rushdie speak. He had just walked onto the stage, was still being introduced less than a minute before the event began, after the event began, and a man rushed from this audience up onto the stage and started punching or stabbing. It wasn't quite clear, but there was clearly some sort of blood or red liquid going in many directions. A collective sigh of shock from the audience, many of whom are here to, contemplate the problems of the world, not to see them up close. And eventually the scene was, the amphitheater was evacuated. It's now a crime scene. The man was detained. We're not really sure the status of Salman Rushdie. There has been a fatwa, an order for him to be killed on his life for many, many decades now. We're waiting to hear from authorities what his status is and what prompted this brazen, senseless, and very scary attack.
All right, we'll take a very short break, but we're staying with more news about the movies. This time, a report from Kashmir, where they're set to get their first multiplex in the last 30 years.